I wanted to ask you about the language used around what happened at the black sites. My personal view would be that regardless of the ethics of it, what occurred fits with the dictionary definition of torture, and that using words like enhanced interrogation is more just a euphemism.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering what language do you prefer to use, and how do you see this debate around enhanced interrogation versus torture?
Yeah, and by the way, most people don't ask that question politely. I really appreciate that. No, I'm serious. I get attacked a lot in public sessions. I never went to a black site. I'm not denying that I didn't know everything that was going on. I never interrogated a prisoner, but I'm the one speaking partly as a result of my conversations with colleagues. So that is a fair question. I can give you a couple of answers. Just technically speaking, we didn't use the word torture. Torture is illegal. So if you say, let's go, you're acknowledging that you should be in a federal prison. The technical way people looked at it, there are a couple of phrases used and legal concepts. One legal concept is knowingly doing something that will result in long-term physical or psychological damage to a human being, so that you can say, I'm uncomfortable with waterboarding. I think it meets my sort of human definition of torture. Technically, it doesn't meet a legal definition. I'm not excusing it. I'm just giving you an explanation. There was another phrase that was used called shock the conscience. That's a legal phrase, meaning if you pick up someone for stealing gum, you're not going to put them in a black site. If you pick up someone who was participating in the murder of almost 3,000 Americans, that doesn't shock the conscience if you submit them to sleep deprivation. So I would close by saying, I think the right conversation to have is not what the law is. And of course, this is from someone who never got close to a law school. It's where you're headed, which is, and where the Congress has been headed, which is, please don't look back. We did this and the Congress said, okay, look forward. Is this where we want America to be? If the answer is no, simply create laws to stop it. But if you're asking your technical question about how we talked about it, that's a quick snapshot of some of the language that was used and some of the philosophy behind the program. Thank you. Thanks for being polite. That's a fair question. Yes,
hi. So it's been about 17 years since the beginning of these black sites were established. This year, the Authorization Act dramatically expanded the Identity Protections Act in kind of a broad way. And one of the reasons that the CIA justified it was saying that because of past going issues due to RDI. And so just based on your experience...
RDI is the rendition of detention. He's talking about the black site program.
Yes, thank you. And I'm just wondering from your experience, like what those issues could be and why that would come up now in 2019.
Yeah. I've seen commentary. What you're talking about is the Congress saying, trying to protect the identities of secret officers more aggressively. I have not looked at the law. I've read some of it. I can just tell you from a personal perspective, let me put two things together. The anger in this culture is something I have not seen before. That anger is fueled by both sides of a political debate. And the second piece of that is I see elements of that, sparks of that in, I have a website in, for example, a hate mail that I received. The level of anger and violence in culture today is high. So if you just do mathematics, 330 million Americans, if you start exposing X number of CI officers, what's your statistical chance that one person who's angry isn't going to show up at somebody's door because you can find people's residences by public records? I don't worry about it because I work in a public world. I'm on CNN. I think about it a lot. People come up a lot. But I can understand just from I don't know the law, but just looking at the world as I see it and knowing my colleagues, in this culture with the number of people who want to send mail that says you should die of cancer, that people might say maybe we should work harder to protect those who took great risks, because in culture today, I wouldn't, even in